Hi, my name is Michael Khanna, and I'm the founder of the SOS Global Indians group. Today, we are here to interact with one of our members, Ankur Seth, who is here to discuss a very pressing issue with regards to his visa status and a very important need to travel to India. But unfortunately, he isn't in a position to do that. So, we're here to understand what are the constraints, what are the challenges he's facing, and how is it that SOS Global Indians can help with this particular issue. I also have with me today Ankita Guchet, who's a professional psychologist and part of the team on SOS Global Indians. She will be helping me in the interaction with Ankur, and we will try to jointly address any concerns that he has and to figure out a way forward from here. Hi, Ankur. How are you doing?
Hi, Michael. Hi, Ankita. I'm doing okay. Thank you. Thanks for having me in the call and great job, SOS Global Indians.
Thank you. So, Ankur, we obviously want to understand, exactly what's happening with you currently, and where are the pain points, so that we can, take this communication forward and try to address it with the right authorities. So, can you tell us a little bit about your situation and exactly where is it that you're facing a challenge?
Sure, Michael. So the situation is my H-1B visa is expiring this month in July, even though I've got an extension with I-797 approved for the next 3 years, which basically means if I leave the country, I need a visa stamp to come back in. And with the recent proclamation, the visa services are basically upheld till the end of the year. And back home in India, I have my uncle that I'm super close with. He's struggling with his chemotherapy treatment. He's having chemotherapy every 15 days in the middle of this COVID pandemic. And as much as I want to go back to India, there is no way to come back to the US. And here I'm with my family. I've got a 5-month-old kid. And the struggle
Right.
is how do I go to India, meet with my uncle, and then come back in? But it seems I can't do that at least until the end of the year.
Right. So, so you have a close family member who's got cancer, and I'm sorry to hear about that at the offset. And I do hope that some kind of a option comes about. But what I'm hearing is that you want to travel, you want to be with the family in India, but you're not able to do that because of the latest proclamation, where if you travel out of the US and you don't have a stamp, you can't re-enter. And in your case, that presents an additional challenge because you have a small infant over here in the US. You would have to leave your wife and kid behind, and then if you travel out, you'd get stuck in India. Am I understanding this correct?
That's right. I'll be stuck in India at least till the end of December.
Which is when the expectation is that this particular executive order would be revisited, and a decision would be taken on relaxing or whatever further steps. Correct?
That's right. So even though I've got I-797, which means the government has reviewed my application and approved it, and
Right.
I basically just need a stamp to come back in, but I won't be
Sure.
able to.
Okay. And so what is your view on this particular decision, or how is it that you feel it's kind of impacting people like you, and what is it exactly that you feel should actually be taken up as an alternative to this approach? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, if the government has already reviewed applications and approved it, whether it's an H visa or an H4 visa, and it's a matter of getting stamped, it should be included as an exception, and people should be allowed to get stamp and travel. In the middle of global pandemic, it's not that people want to travel just for fun. There are serious, issues. There are family medical emergency. That's why people are taking risk to travel.
Right.
So would really appreciate if the U.S. government can review the proclamation and look at situations where it makes sense to provide exceptions, whether it's for H4 kids that are stuck or for H1B visas for people that have
Right.
been paying US taxes and their visas approved. I've been in the US for 8-9 years now. I've paid. hundreds and thousands of dollars in taxes, and
Right.
my kids are
Yeah,
born
that's
here.
very interesting point because tax paying people like you who've contributed in many ways to the US, and then are law abiding citizens or law abiding people just here to do their work and live their life. You are confronted with a situation where you find yourself having no options but to you know it's like the devil in the deep blue sea. You can't go from here and leave your family. You can't be in India with somebody who's very close to you and is facing cancer, um, and it feels kind of unfair in a sense that you have to face the situation. Uh, I would want to know how is it that you're dealing with this, because I'm sure it's very stressful to kind of face this on a personal level, and I'm sure Ankita is on the call with us.
Yeah, I had a similar question. Like, how do you feel? Like, are you feeling stressed or anger? Like, what kind of emotions you're feeling going through this whole situation?
Well, to start with, every negative emotion that you can imagine that comes every
Mhm.
day in my mind. But you know, I need to make sure I maintain positivity,
Right.
and you know, try to figure out solutions. I've started, following the SOS Global Indians group like 5 times a day at
Uh-huh.
least, looking at immigration-related news probably every hour. Talking to family, 2 or 3 times a day back in India,
Yeah.
and just praying, hoping things will improve somehow. Um, and to Michael's point, it becomes really difficult when you have kids here,
Totally.
a job
Yeah,
here. I
yeah,
even
yeah.
have a house here, so
Mm-hmm.
I can't just leave things and go away.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I need a path to come back,
No,
uh,
totally.
which I have in a way because my I-797 is approved, but then
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the formal visa. So it's like, what is happening? What am I being penalized for?
Yeah.
Correct.
I even
Yeah.
I even studied in this country, paid a lot of student loan back.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I do feel like a secondary citizen, to be fair.
Yeah. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's an emotion I'm sure everybody who's in your situation is currently feeling. Because there seems to be a sense of being at the receiving end of decisions or steps which are are not working to the advantage or keeping in mind the realities of everybody's situation in the US currently, for example. And as it is, there is enough of strain and stress with regards to the COVID situation, with you know having to deal with a new kind of approach towards living and managing your work, managing your responsibilities. So this probably feels like you've kind of faced another hurdle of sorts which you could have very well have done without at the current stage in the way things are currently. So now tell me, Ankur, is there an expectation? What is your expectation, or in your evaluation, what are you hoping that kind of comes out of an interaction like this, or what kind of a message should we be taking to, say, the US authorities, or to anybody who's listening to this?
Um, if you can pass on the message to a US authority as a collective group, we should request them to look at certain cases where um, uh, um, you know um, exceptions to the proclamation would make sense. I understand the U.S. government is going through a lot right now, and they're talking about merit-based immigration and whatnot. But in the interim, please not stop us from living our lives.
Correct. And also in the case of an emergency like this, where one needs to travel to be with family, and there is a very serious medical crisis, you should be able to make a quick trip, manage your responsibilities, and come back without having this issue hanging over your head.
Yeah,
I guess that's
absolutely. Even if they give me an extension for a month, I'll go, catch a flight and come back within a month. Like, I really
and
want to see him.
yeah. And have you actually made any efforts on your own to take this matter up? Have you got in touch with any of the authorities in the US for this?
Every immigration lawyer that I've talked with says that executive order is something that is
Nothing can be done.
nothing can be done. Although I'm hopeful with the recent change for the student visa executive order, they may be open to relook at the H1 executive order as well.
Sure. And are you aware of any other members on the SOS Global Indians group, or are you aware of any other people who are facing a similar situation like you? Maybe your friends or family or network that's there in the US currently?
So look, between June 22nd and December 31st, everyone whose visa is going to expire and God forbid faces an emergency back home would get strangled like me. And getting stuck in an emergency is not great. I mean, there should be an exception around it, any sort of executive order. Like, yes, my visa got expired in July, but I'm pretty sure people would have, visa expiration coming in August, September, and October, and
sure,
hopefully, no emergency comes to them. But if it does, then they would be stuck just like
they will
me.
they will be in a similar situation as you. Okay, so what's your plan B if suppose nothing happens, God forbid, any thoughts or any plan on a plan B, or is it that you're just going to write it out and so what's your thinking on that?
Probably pack bags, sell my house, and go.
Right, and that's a situation that you definitely aren't looking forward to. That's not
the ideal solution, and doing all this in the middle of a global pandemic with an infant would be the last thing you would think of. But I don't know what else can I do.
That is so true. Anyway, thanks so much, Ankur, for this conversation, and I really feel for your situation because I see that you're kind of facing issues on both fronts, both managing your circumstances within the US currently and being stuck, not able to travel and reach out to close family members in India. So it seems like a double whammy, unfortunately, and at the end of it all, you're staring down a very, very grim outcome if nothing else kind of works out for you sometime soon. But our hope is that we will take this communication forward and try to bring more people who are facing the same kind of challenges together and put out a formal request or a petition of sorts and join whatever efforts are ongoing to help with the situation. And let's hope that something can kind of come off it. Either ways, we're standing by your side and try to kind of see how is it that we can add value and try to take a conversation further with the authorities. Meanwhile, please take care, stay safe, and thanks so much for taking the time out. And thanks, Ankita, for coming on the call.
Also, I think you're doing a great job. I mean, I could imagine having to balance so many things. But I still see the way you're managing everything is still in a good way, and like reaching out to the family, making sure they're doing well, thinking about the infant and this visa whole situation, and I think you're doing a great job, and I hope everything works out for everyone going through this pandemic. And that's all I have.
Thanks so much.
I hope so as well. Thank you.
Okay, take care, Ankur, sorry, and we shall be in touch. Thanks, Ankita, for coming on the call. And let's be in touch and let's see how we can take this thing further.
Okay, thank you.
See you. Bye, guys. Thanks. And we shall be in touch. Thanks, Ankita, for coming on the call. And let's be in touch and let's see how we can take this thing further.
Okay, thank you.
See you. Bye, guys. Thanks.